Hey, what is up guys? It's Super User Stan here with this week's Apple News Roundup. First up is a report from Digitimes which claims that an entry-level AirPods Pro is going to be coming out either first or second quarter of 2020. Now, they didn't have a name for this new device, but they're calling it the AirPods Pro Lite for the time being. And please, Apple, if you're listening to this, don't call it the AirPods Pro Lite. The naming convention is already confusing enough. Just call it third generation AirPods. It seems as if naming convention with Apple products these days is just sticking as many suffixes to the name as possible. You know, iPhone 11, Pro, Max. Anyway, regardless of what this new AirPod is called, it looks like it's going to be coming out pretty soon. The next report comes from Mac Rumors, which claims that the next smart keyboard for the iPad Pros may come with a touchpad. Now, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this, to be honest, because the iPad is meant for you to touch and manipulate stuff, and it's not designed for a touchpad. I'm not exactly sure how Apple would implement a touchpad, to be honest, with iOS, because there is no cursor in iOS. It just doesn't work like that. So it might be interesting that if we actually do get a touchpad, it seems like Apple is shifting the iPad towards even more so of a laptop. Digitimes also made a report that said that the iPad Pro may be getting a backlit keyboard or with scissor switches. The reports all seem to indicate that the iPad is going to be more of a laptop type machine with touch interface. Again, we'll have to see how this pans out. Tell me down in the comments how you think the iPad will function with a touchpad, especially in iOS. Regardless, it looks like we're going to be getting the iPad Pro pretty soon, because the iPad Pro in its current configuration last came out in October of 2018. There was a report from Mark Gurman from Bloomberg that said that a lot of the stock for the iPad Pro seems to be running out. So we may be seeing the updated iPad Pro pretty soon. Next is a report from Min-Chi Kuo that claims that we're going to be getting 6 new products with mini LED displays. 3 of which are going to be iPad Pros, the 12.9 inch, 10.2 inch, and 7.9 inch iPads. And 2 are MacBook Pros, one being a 14.1 inch and the other one being a 16 inch, and then a 27 inch iMac Pro. Now, this is exciting because it's going to be the first time we've heard about or had any confirmation of a 14 inch MacBook Pro. A lot of us thought that it would make sense after Apple released the 16 inch MacBook Pro that they're going to be updating the 13 inch to maybe a 14 inch and then slimming down all the bezels and whatnot. Like I said, it's going to be the first time, or it's the first time that we've heard from an analyst that we may be seeing a 14 inch MacBook Pro. And the second point is that we've been hearing about mini LEDs for a long time now. Now, the XDR display is also mini LED with 500 plus local dimming zones. The local dimming zones allow the screens to get very, very dark, completely off, and give you great contrast, allowing you to watch that HDR content. So what's very exciting is that if we get these mini LEDs in these laptops, then we're going to be getting very good displays. Now, the report didn't say when we would be getting all the products. It only said that we may be getting the 27 inch iMac Pro later this year in 2020. In a previous report, we did get a hint that we may be seeing the 16 inch MacBook Pro with mini LED display in quarter 4 of 2020. So I think it's very possible that we're going to be seeing those 2 products in 2020 and maybe the rest of the devices in early 2021. Now, the last leak I have is from CoinEx, which has a pretty good track record on leaks. In a Twitter post, he said basically, very simply, iMac, Mac Mini soon. I concur with this leak because Intel is right on the cusp of releasing their 10th generation CPUs, Comet Lake S. These 10th generation CPUs will definitely find their way into the iMacs and Mac Minis. We already know that the 10900K is going to be a 10-core, 20-thread CPU that boosts all the way to 5.3 gigahertz. We also know that there's an i7 10700K, 8 cores, 16 threads, that's going to be able to boost over 5 gigahertz as well. So these chips are going to find their way into the new iMac and the Mac Mini, and the latest reports are saying that we may be seeing them as early as next month. So it would make a lot of sense for Apple to refresh their Mac lineup with these new chips. In fact, there was a leaked video of Dell's new offerings of the 10th generation chips that hit YouTube earlier today. And it looks like all of these manufacturers are gearing up to release their new computers. So that wraps up this week's news. If you want to see more Apple related news and rumors and leaks, make sure to hit that like button and perhaps consider subscribing for future updates. I'll see you in the next one.